Welcome back to Villa TV and to Matchday Live. You join myself, Kate Tracy, alongside these two messes, having their own private conversation there, but they are breathing a sigh of relief. A 1-0 win for Aston Villa over Fulham, an important 3 points on the board, now level in terms of points with Nottingham Forest and Chelsea on 60 points. Of course, a pair of those two with a game in hand. However, the impetus, the onus is now put onto them. Aston Villa have really laid down the gauntlet here, Alan.
Yeah. I said it would be tight. I didn't think it would be just as tight. We had chances to score in the second half, and for whatever reason, we just couldn't put the ball in the back of the net. It was a nervy game for us at times, and I think the lads kind of felt that a bit. There was a spell in the game where I thought we were completely and utterly in control, and just maybe, big man, because we want them to play well all the time, maybe it was just about getting the 3 points today. I mean, the performance is still okay, but we can play better than that.
I think within a week or two, everyone will forget about this game. All you'll look at is the points. But you look at the game and the balance of the game, like we created. Some of our one-touch passing at times to create openings was superb. We had a couple of chances to get the second goal so everyone could relax. We didn't get the second goal. But sometimes you have to see the thing through. We have seen the game through. It did get very nervous. And I've got to say, last half an hour, I was just looking at my watch. But we got the points, and that's all that happens. We move on again. Like we got 3 games. Just got to get through.
I've got to say, we mentioned their fullbacks before the game because I think I thought our fullbacks were excellent today. I thought Ian did brilliant on the left-hand side.
Our only change.
And I thought Cashy on the right-hand side at times when you want him to. Listen, when he had the opportunity to go forward, I thought Matt definitely went forward, and he had a block right here, literally about 5 yards from me, that was so important for us. But in terms of the way we played,
full brunt of it.
Listen, I think the manager deep down will be relatively unhappy and happy at the same time, but maybe the 3 points just to make sure we caught up with the teams on top of us. Maybe that was a big thing today. But listen, it's still a wonderful performance by us today. They're not a bad team, by the way. They're all right, Tomo.
Oh, yeah.
You look at where they've been in the table, and I keep saying, I've said before the game, everyone looks at them as a sort of mid-table at best. Like they're a decent outfit, well coached, and they always look like they could maybe cause us a problem.
You can understand why they've done well away from home.
Especially. And then you think, just get the second goal, we can all relax a little bit. Never came today, but I think one of the most important things at times, we got a clean sheet, we saw the game through. It could have gone against us. We saw the game through. I think the players got a bit edgy because the fans got edgy. We all got edgy, wanted to see it through, but we saw it through, got the 3 points. Happy days.
And Fulham have fantastic away game second half stats as well, so they're really dangerous. You can't let your guard down for any moment. And we know Villa they haven't got the most fantastic stats throughout this season in terms of 90+ minute goals. So having to keep up that concentration, especially after Man City the other day, let alone the disappointment from Crystal Palace. So to keep up those concentration levels right to the end, the point I wanted to make really to start this was actually the relief on all of them. I don't know if you saw when the final whistle went, Emi Martinez dropped to his knees. We saw Matty Cash really punching the air at that point. That meant a lot to them.
You could tell. I mean, sometimes players say it means a lot to them and they kiss the badge and everything. These are showing it with their performance today. They wanted the result. As you say, people fell to their knees. Everyone's nervous. Everyone wanted to get the result. We got the result. We've seen it through. And like you say, Matty Cash, he's put himself in the block. He's got a lovely block in that. He has defended with his life. And that's what you want your players to do. And they're showing on the pitch that they want it badly. Yeah,
and we're talking about doing his job. His job's defending, and that's what he did well. But there was a ball he put into the middle for Ollie Watkins that I thought Ollie was going to score. And that's the other side of the game that I thought both our fullbacks did really well today. Middle of the park, Tielemans is different class. Boubacar Kamara is sensational. If you watch him off the ball, the work rate he does is incredible. And the team, I go back to the team we played today, they're not a bad team, Fulham, by the way. They made us work. And you're talking about their stats in the second half of the matches. You know, they're bringing on Traore, who looks, he's quick and strong, Tom. He's he's like you wrapped into... There's like
but
two of you.
Quicker.
Yeah, slightly quicker. You know, and the likes of Reed, etc., and they're bringing on, I thought Jimenez, who at one point was a top striker, and he hurt his head, and then I thought he played really well. He works his socks off. So if when you roll everything in and look back and watch the game, you realise just how good a performance we had today. I know at times people are like, you've given the ball away. That happens in game. We spoke about it before, saying there'll be spells in the game where we'll be struggling. And that's when you need the fans behind. I thought the fans were fantastic today and really got us through a tough time midway through the second half. And then obviously Marlon's a little unlucky. He doesn't double our lead, to be fair.
I know, we'll get back to that in just a moment. But I do want to talk about that, about the options that they have off the bench, and they are a rough and tumble team. They really can stick it on you however they want. And like you say, when Traore came on, Luca Dean having to deal with him and everything, making sure that he cut back inside, never allowing him to beat him to the byline then by any means. Every man has had his man today, and they have done their job exactly. No matter what subs they brought on, no matter what changes they've made, all of the Villa lads have done their job.
Well, we were saying before the game, you've got to win your individual battle, and they knew they had to do that. And when the likes of Traore come on and Luca Dean's up there, and Luca Dean looks at him and he knows what he's got to do. He's got to make sure, because they want to work the ball, get the diagonal onto him, and then what he can run at Luca Dean. Luca Dean got his body in a position, so there's no way he could really get a run at him. Yeah. He marked him very, very well. He defended very well. And that's what you got to do. You've got to win your individual battles, and then you can step on as a team.
I don't always, but most of the time I talk about, getting them turning facing their own goalkeeper.
Yeah.
I thought we did that a little better today by putting that one over the top. We did it really early. We did it after about 3 or 4 minutes, and Ollie Watkins was brilliant holding the ball up. I think he managed to get a free kick down there, and I was like, I like that from the manager, just reminding everybody. But that one's on sometimes in behind the fullbacks, because their fullbacks want to go forward, remember. So there's always that opportunity for us to get behind. I thought we did that much better today. I think it makes us look like a more aggressive team and the aggressor in the match, rather than trying to control it by 4 or 5 touches in the middle of the park, which is fine as long as we keep possession. But that one every now and again when it's on to get in behind the fullbacks, I thought we did that really, really well today.
It was a really controlled start, wasn't it? And then, of course, Yuri Tielemans' goal in the 12th minute there. That was his 3rd headed goal of the campaign now. Not exactly known for his aerial prowess as such.
Well, that's the big man. He was brilliant at heading the ball. There was one time it was across at Birmingham City and you were in the air for 4 minutes before you headed it in.
I don't like to talk about it. Is that what I got to do? But Yuri Tielemans, as you say, he's got a chance today. They're marking zonal, as it were, so there's space for Yuri to go make his run. No one's picking him up. He's got a great bullet header. Keeper's got a hand on it, but all that matters is he goes in the net light. But Yuri Tielemans, like you say, he's got his 3rd goal, but he will score goals because he sort of goes into the box.
Yeah. And 10 goal involvements from him this season as well. That's his joint top in the Premier League. So, again, we've been talking about him and constantly been giving him man of the match performances after man of the match. We know he's just got it from TNT, we believe, in the background there. But, again, to get his joint most now with the 10, it's just testament to that.
Well, I think more important for me is it's the only goal of the game, but he makes the run at a vital moment. That's the change in the game for us and gave us massive. What was it 11 minutes or 15 minutes? We scored or something. Yeah. So a huge moment in the game when the game's been a bit like they've had a bit, we've had a bit, they've had a bit, and then we get a set piece and we manage to make sure everybody does the runs, but Yuri gets himself in the box. He doesn't stand. He makes the run where he's meant to be and scores a great goal, Thomas. So, I mean, if he was one of our teammates, he'd be like, just unbelievable, because we make a run. We're not meant to get the ball, but that ball in for Yuri is exactly where he's meant to be.
Everything's geared, so Yuri can make his run. He finishes it well. You get the result. And he also had a strike. About 10 minutes later, he had a strike, and the keeper's got a great touch on it.
He saved it.
Yeah, he saved it.
And it goes
and the
out
keeper
for a
starts
goal
laughing,
kick.
doesn't he?
He definitely got a touch.
Touch on it. Yeah,
there was a great goal, a great save from Leno, to be fair, but.
He knew himself when he went to even take the goal kick. He was laughing. He knew
See,
himself.
in normal circumstances, had they been 3 up, he'd have said I got a touch there. But because he didn't even.
Absolutely not.
But nevertheless, and I'm glad he got man of the match, because he is such an important player for Aston Villa, and he's an absolutely great guy. And, long may he continue to just do his thing in the middle of the park for us.
And it was great for John McGinn as well to mark his 200th Premier League appearance with the assist as well. And, of course, in terms of the corners, he had one a few minutes prior. Don't think it beat the first man.
Cutter,
And then for him to straight away bounce back from that and to deliver that kind of cross in, testament.
Mental toughness. John McGinn, he might make mistakes, but he will always try and rectify it. There was a moment in, I think it was the first or the second half, where he'd picked the ball up and he's done something magnificent, and the whole crowd, everybody got up and started singing Super John McGinn. He is a leader. He's everything you want to epitomise about this football club. He leads, he gets into people, he scores goals. He's just a superb player. And like you say, the corner was very, very poor with the grass cutter. Next one, Yuri Tielemans scores from.
Yeah, exactly, makes it count.
There was a really good move. I mean, we need to speak about the manager, because the manager's got it right again today. I know it was a struggle for us, and we still got the 3 points. But after Sessegnon got booked and Tete had a kick at Morgan Rogers, the manager swapped Morgan Rogers and put him on the right and brought John to the left so that John could turn him and spin him, etc., etc. And then Teddy got booked as well with his challenge on John, and so that was good. Nobody's really won't speak about it because they won't remember it. But during the game, I can remember him shouting, and the two of them changed to try and put pressure on Fulham because John's good at doing that as well. And Morgan then had a run at Robinson, who I really like, by the way. Their fullback's really good, Anthony Robinson, and that just gave us also a little bit of momentum in the first half. So no, there was certainly plenty to be really, really proud of the lads the way they played today. And like Gary, said, genuinely perfect. It's a huge 3 points, but more importantly, we managed to keep a clean sheet, which I was worried at the start of the game that we might not manage.
You were talking about that beforehand, Gary, that you wanted to see a clean sheet, slightly elusive as it has been for Villa this season. But of course, when they've won, they've managed to score however many goals to compensate them for that. But with that clean sheet today, yes, it's a 1-0 win, but is that just as important?
Yes, I think as a goalkeeper and a back four, you want to keep a clean sheet anyway. As a team, you need to keep clean sheets every now and again. And going into the last 3 games now, you want to think that we can keep clean sheets. You start keeping clean sheets, you've got more chance of winning a game.
Do you want to hear some stats? Alan absolutely loves the stats.
Hey, that's XG garbage.
He absolutely loves it. The XG for the first half, would you believe,
goals
was not...
Well, I know what it is.
In other words, if you and I played today, the XG would have been a million.
In terms of XG for the first half, it was 0.18 for Fulham, 0.12 for Villa. So they actually beat on a very minimal XG for the first half, considering it's a 1-0 scoreline overall.
Possession,
52% to Aston Villa to 48 for Fulham. Expected goals, 0.86 for Villa, 0.71 for Fulham. They had more shots with 11 compared to our 10. Yeah. Both had 3 shots on target. Big chances, 3 for Aston Villa compared to their 1s. And the other interesting one, fouls committed. This is quite a landslide for Fulham. 6 for Villa. Do you want to have a guess in terms of Fulham?
12. Double.
17.
Yeah.
I should have let Gary. Gary was going in there with that.
Sorry, mate. Sorry. Yeah, they did create a lot of fouls, but that was only because in spells in the game and where we had the ball, we really had them on the racket at times. That's why they were making fouls. Also, that spin, Morgan does it and John does it. Spinning them and turning them, and I think Cashy did it one of the times, getting them behind, and that's why they were getting frustrated. Because when Teddy gets booked, and then I think it was Sander Berge got booked for exactly the same thing in the middle of the park. Silva's like, he's got no option then to take, he's got to make changes, which kind of not upset their equilibrium, but just a little bit, and we managed to obviously manage the game out. But, I go back to what Gary said, that on reflection when I'm driving home tonight, I'm going to think about the clean sheet more than the goal we scored today, but how important it was for us to have a clean sheet, not only for the big man in the goal to be happy, because you know what goalkeepers are like. Even in training, they don't like you kicking the ball in after they've saved it. So yeah, it's a really, really big 3 points, as big as we've had in the last 5 or 6 games, guys. I think.
But when Emmy came, we had a record number of clean sheets. And as a goalkeeper, you must be thinking now, we've got good going forward, we've got goals in us, but we don't keep clean sheets. So you want to change the word you use, equilibrium. You want to get the equilibrium back a little bit as a goalkeeper.
He looked a bit more secure today.
Yes, he looks a lot happier.
I'm not saying, because he's so good and he set the standards like the #1 goalie in the world, and he just looks so rock solid. But I thought today, everything, I didn't see him spill a thing today.
No, he looked comfortable.
Nothing today.
Most times. And you look at him, there's been a couple of times he's been a little bit sloppy lately, but because the standards are so high, because he is being the best goalkeeper in the world, if you just drop a little bit off the standards, people are like, oh, he ain't the same fella. I mean, the goal that went in, was it Man City, the goal he got beat, headed between his legs, people go, oh, he should save that. Sometimes all you can do is get your body in the way. This time he didn't happen, but he's got a clean sheet. He'll be delighted in there. Great, delighted for the result, but it's a back four, they kept a clean sheet as well. It's very important.
Also, are we on at half-time or something? How many Villa players are on after today's game? Normally when we come out here and we do our post-match show, we've kind of got the subs just on in the background and ones who might have been featuring and they'll be doing their runs. But we've got a full training session.
Well, I think the lot. I'm sorry for turning my back on everybody, but I think some of the lads, likes of Malin, the likes of Anana, Jacob Ramsey, who obviously played a part. Lucadinha played a part today. It's not enough for them, and I think by that maybe the gaffer might just give them tomorrow off, or if you've got a knock, they might come in for maybe a bit of a rub or a bit of treatment, and I can only presume that they might be giving some of the lads a day off tomorrow. Then everybody's back in Monday. We've got a big game against Bournemouth coming up away from home, so maybe just the managers decided just to give the day off. But before you go, we'll do a little bit.
Have a little blow.
What will they be doing now?
Keep ball, isn't it? Keep ball.
They'll keep ball, but there'll be a bit of running thrown in as well.
They'll need to be careful because they'll obviously come from the keep ball and they'll come just behind me and they'll play a little short-sided game.
They've got the 2 goals set out here ready for us. So you're getting an extra bit of entertainment if you're watching out there.
I can see Tomo and I joining in with this one.
That's what I can see the pair of you two.
I think I've got to go in goal now. I can't really move that much.
To go itching for this. But
so it's basically, it's player management, Kate. Yeah. You know, it's player management. Nobody's getting overawed in there. Come on, we're back out. We've got a job to do. You didn't do enough, as in, you know, you played a part of the game, but you haven't done enough in terms of fitness-wise, so we're going to do a little bit more. They'd much rather do what they're doing rather than do box-to-box, halfway to halfway, etc., etc. You'd much rather get the ball down, get it out, and then obviously warm up properly and then have a little game.
Do you work with the ball?
Yeah, smashing the ball into...
Always best. You'll always chase.
And smashing the ball into net or something, etc., etc. So I think it's just literally babysitting for the manager to make sure everybody's still on the ball, and although we're 1-0, there's an attitude of, come on, we're not finished yet.
Yeah.
We're genuinely not finished yet. So we need to keep our eye on the ball.
Do you think the psychological side of it as much as 100%. The physical?
Do you think, Tom?
Yeah. Well, you looked at the game last week. I thought mentally we were a little bit off it. We were a bit like slack, dull of mind, not sharp. People were saying they were tired. I thought they were just slow in their mind to cope with it. You just keep the players sharp now. Just keep them moving. Maybe give them a day or 2 days off, but knowing full well they're looking forward to the big game the weekend. So just keep everybody sharp. As we were saying, when he first came, they ran out of legs a little bit. Now you just do short and sharp, little bursts. They'll be ready to go. Because
this is one of the few times they've had throughout the season where they've actually got a week between games for the final 4 games, which is a relative luxury, it probably feels like to them. Comparison to Carabao Cup at the start of the season, FA Cup, Champions League with the extra game they were having to play there and obviously doing so well, getting the extra games again then. So they have been playing, you know, kind of a la championship in terms of 2 games a week for months now. So it's probably actually quite nice, the idea of them having a full week off.
To give them a couple of days now, it'd be a godsend because they've been working, as you say, game every 3 or 4 days. And it's always, you've got to raise yourself for a Champions League game, a Carabao Cup game, a FA Cup game. You've got to raise yourself again, Premier League games as well. So just to have a few days now, just to get, he can work with a few of them, talk to a few of them, but give them a couple of days with their families as well. Like they'll be perfect. Just going into the last knockings of the season, we can see the finish line in sight. This is going to be a beautiful last 3 games, I think.
Yeah, it makes a big difference, doesn't it?
It will make a difference to the players. Don't worry about that. I mean, I don't know whether Gary's right saying we're getting a day off. I think everybody might be in, but the intensity in the training might not need to be that much. But it will give the manager a little bit more time. I'll tell you what the lads might be doing, Tomo. Is sitting in. Oh, do you remember Janaga Fjotov, everybody? He's just shouting at me. Lovely to see you, big man. Ik liebe dich. Ik liebe dich.
I didn't realise he was that big.
He was
massive.
He's a good guy. So he played for Chelsea. Was he at Leeds United, Sheffield United? Janaga, top guy he was.
Heckling from the sideline.
Good guy. Anyway, sorry, we digress there. What did you ask me? Yeah, about the days up, and maybe the manager, because the game against Bournemouth away from home is not going to be easy. So it gives even the manager time just to take a deep breath and say, okay, I've got an extended length of time to. Oh, that's what I was going to say. They'll be watching parts of the game in the theatre when, like, you have to watch the game and dissect the game.
That's horrible as well.
And the gaffer calls a meeting about a meeting to the meeting we're going to have, etc., etc. So they'll probably spend a bit of time in the lecture theatre, looking at patterns of play and looking at how Bournemouth play.
Are they enjoyable? Be honest.
I didn't really enjoy it that much, Tomo.
For about 10 minutes, because you're
10 minutes
taking the mickey out of your mates and all that, but one of your mates makes a mistake or you make the mistake and your manager highlights it and goes over it and goes back and goes over it again, and in the end you just want the ground to eat you up. Like.
Him and I tried to get a seat up the back and keep the lights down low in case we could find 5 minutes, but the manager's normally on you. But it's just something, again, that they maybe haven't had to do with a relaxation time, rather than we've got 2 days we play. We've got 2 days we play, 2 days we play. So there's an extended period where hopefully, you know, and I suppose more importantly, a sleep's as good as a feed. You ever heard that? No?
No, I haven't actually. No, that's a new one for me.
Once you have children, you know what I'm talking about. A sleep's as good as a feed. So in terms of, you know, your recovery, you know, your rest and recuperation, all that, and a build up to a really big game next week. So the guys need to know their own job in terms of not just being at a football club. You know, get your rest, get your recuperation, and if you need a massage or you need whatever, you need treatment, get it done this week and be ready to go next Saturday.
Now, like you say, it is next Saturday, 5:30 kick-off Bournemouth. Then, of course, we're back here on Sunday, the 18th of May, for the 2:15 kickoff versus Spurs. Then the final game of the season, as we know, away at Old Trafford at 4 p.m.
When's the Spurs game? Did you say Sunday there?
Yes, on a
Sunday, yeah.
On a Sunday at 2:15.
Okay, yeah.
So when you looked at these 4 games, we were teeing up the pre-match show that these are 4 cup finals in a row. Did you look at them as a group, as a collective, or did you look at it as just one game at a time? Or if you did look at them as a collective, which game stood out?
I think we looked at the 2 games. You look at Man United and you look at the Spurs game, and because they got the Europa Cup, you're thinking, well, they will probably play weakened sides, so it's not an easier game, but that game might not be as difficult. These were the 2 you're looking at, and you're thinking, like, Fulham are a good side, and Bournemouth, even though they look like they're a bit leggy now, that's going to be a difficult game as well. So if we can get these 2 done, I think people will say we need 10 points or we need maximum 9 points, and then see what happens from there. But we do our bit. But it's getting the first one under your belt now, it's looking a lot better now. And obviously, we just crack on to the next one. But Bournemouth is going to be difficult.
Well, I thought 66 might be enough. What we got? 59? 60 points
60
now. I was wondering whether 66 might be enough to get us at least 6th place. But then with everybody else, with Chelsea, who did they beat late on? They beat Fulham late on, Tom.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
And then they beat Everton, which is a bit of a blow for us, to be fair. And then, of course, everybody else around about seems to be...
Liverpool are going to change the team as well.
Really?
He's been saying, like, I'm going to rotate a little bit.
All right, yeah, okay. Nevertheless, though, I mean, I suppose in terms of reflection, I think we need 9 points.
Yeah.
Before this game, I'm thinking 9 points gives us 66. And then, depending what happens, more so maybe the last day of the season, a point might be enough actually for us to finish 5th or 6th. And hopefully we're in a position that that's the case, because that means we've beaten Bournemouth down there and we do Spurs here.
Because, of course, should we take a look at how it should work out? Of course, we've got a whole load of different permutations in terms of European football with the Premier League this year. So top 5, Champions League. At the minute, as it stands, 6th Europa League, 7th Conference, place passed down because of the EFL. Cup winners, Newcastle, 8th place Conference League if Man City win the FA Cup and finish in the top 5. If Crystal Palace win the FA Cup, then of course they get that spot, and it does mean that that 8th place finish means nothing. So we could have potentially 10 English teams in Europe next year, potentially, which is fantastic, and rightly so. When we're likely to have 2 English teams in the Europa League final. Chelsea, if they don't go on and win the Conference League now, it would be massively surprising. Arsenal still fighting in the semi-final there of the Champions League. So it is right in terms of the coefficient that the Premier League should have all of these places. But of course, we've got all these permutations, so you just need to do your own job at this point.
That's it. As it comes down to winning your games, doing your job. But as you say, people talk about the Premier League being the best league in the world. Everybody wants to play in the Premier League, A, for the money, A, for the scrutiny as well, the adulation you get as well. This is a place to be at the minute, and if we can get ourselves in there again, because for us to compete in Champions League again, 2 years running, maybe 3 years running, that starts making you a really big club.
What do you make of that then, in terms of the drop down with the Europe and in terms of the Conference League? Would the Conference League be enough for you? Europa League, is that about right in terms of winning a trophy, or is it all Champions League for you?
That's a killer question, Kate.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
To take a drop from the Champions League to the Conference of Europe, I'd probably be a little like, maybe we didn't finish the season as strong as what I would have loved the lads to. And by the way, it wouldn't just be me who'd be disappointed. The boys would be disappointed, because at the moment in time, I'm thinking a minimum of Europa League, and we can give that a right go as well, by the way. And with the experience we've had in this, I was saying to somebody earlier on, said, what do you think of the season so far? We're in the position we're in now, Al. I went, I met you in Leipzig, I met you in Monaco, you were in Paris, you were going crazy when we beat Bayern Munich 1-0 here. You thought we should have beat Juve with the last kick of the ball, and you're asking me whether I think the season's been any good. I said, you can't believe your luck here. This is a time for Aston Villa Football Club that we should be proud and still sticking our chests out. The lads have a job to do still. There's no question about that. And the boys know that. And by the way, they've just come through a test today. Because people are thinking, Villa got beat by City. They got beat by Palace at the weekend and thing. And the wheels are falling. And by the way, they're stuck in their chests out so much today. I don't care how you've played. We've won 1-0. We've got 3 points. That shows you exactly where this football club is. And sometimes you need to scrap. Even before the game, we just probably sat down together and said, hey, we need to scrap today. And we need to conserve energy, but we need to give it every single thing.
Some games it's just going to be a battle. It's all about getting the result. Sometimes it's a performance. The performance is really good. Everyone's happy. But sometimes you just have to scrap it through, and we just scrapped it through. The last 20, 25 minutes, you just want the clock to run down, but we had to see the thing through. And when you can do that and get a clean sheet, you're pleased with that. You're delighted.
Alan's just given his thoughts on the season as a whole there, and how can it not be seen as anything but a success in the nights that we were given in terms of the European nights as well. Unai Emery just stood out of the tunnel as well, watching this little practice game as well, which I've never seen before. So he never stops, does he? Never stops watching. But
oh, sorry, they're doing one-on-ones if you want to know what they're doing.
Well, what's exactly?
Sorry, Tom.
Anyway. Back in the head.
But, oh my goodness, I know one of these is definitely going to...
No, we're all right. We're all right. We're only playing 20. If they hit us after a 20-yard pass, we're in big trouble.
But, Gary, to come back to you, though, I want to ask your thoughts on the season as a whole. How do you think it's gone? Can you class it as success yet? Are you going to wait till the end of the season? What do you make of it all?
I think it's been a success anyway. I mean, our performance in the Champions League, the fact that we got ourselves to the semi-final of the FA Cup, probably should have got to the final. But generally, we've had to compete. We've played, like I say, Tuesday, Saturday, Wednesday, Sunday, whatever. We've had to keep playing. We've had to play in different competitions. I just think he's got a better squad now. But I think they've done ever so well. I think a lot of fans are disappointed after the Cup game. But if you look at it, at the end of the season, you look at where we end up and look how far we've come. And I keep going back to it. 2.5 years ago or 5 years ago, this was a dream. We are now living a dream.
You know what? I think that is probably the perfect place to finish this. So, lads, you've been very generous, very patient with your time as well. So thank you so much to the pair of you two for coming back. The pair of you two are probably going to go and have a kickabout now anyway.
Well, we're going to have a small beer. That's what we're going
to do. He might do. I'll just watch you.
Yeah. Potentially, as the sun has just come out again here at Villa Park. An early finish for us as well, which is quite nice.
Yeah, I thought we were going to maybe get one of the lads, but I think they're all pretty much... in the bath,
we were waiting on, but yeah, exactly. We haven't had any sort of confirmation now, and we've bought enough time, I feel, unfortunately.
Well done, Kate. You did pretty good there.
We have bought enough time there at this point, but hopefully one of the lads will speak to the Villa TV team then to make sure to catch that post-game interview as soon as it goes live. But lads, thank you so much again.
Thank you for inviting me.
And roll on, Bournemouth. We are one of our cup finals down. Just 3 more to go. Up the Villa.